So, Representative Bresnahan, thank you so much for joining me. Like I just said, it's been a very busy week for you guys. You're back in DC. Um, the House just passed yesterday the spending bill to kind of reopen the government. What's the feeling like in DC right now?
Well, I mean, it feels great to be back. It's something that we should have been doing for the last 45 days. And right now, what we're working on is the backlog of casework. I mean, we have been inundated with different inquiries from constituency service, and that's something that I've always prioritized in our office. So today, that is what we are doing. We're working with the various different agencies between the VA, our SSA, the IRS, and making sure that that backlog is handled as expeditiously as possible.
Are Republicans satisfied with the outcome of the shutdown and the agreement?
Well, we are. I mean, for sure. And specifically with the agriculture appropriations bill that we were successfully able to pass, we have $1 million coming back to the JCC in Luzerne County for their early child education program, and $1,170 coming to Monroe County for the Chestnut Hill Fire Company so they can replenish their engine and emergency pumper trucks. Also, it's providing critical funding for the SNAP programs. And with VA Milcon, what it's allowing us to do is veteran health care and making sure that that is appropriately funded for the next calendar year. So sure, like we're very happy that we were able to get this across the finish line. Personally, I've been an advocate to not shut the government down since the onset of this. And I'm happy to see a bipartisan solution here and ultimately get the lights back on.
Yeah, I can imagine. And so this fighting went along for over a month, and now you have a couple services funded until next September, and some services funded through January. But most of the government, that funding ends January 30th. Do you expect that same kind of fighting leading up to that January deadline, or do you think it's going to be
Well,
smoother sailing?
I hope not. I think the fact that we were able to move some of the appropriations bills and basically restore order so our 10,000 federal workers from the Social Security Administration, the IRS, that we can continue to operate the way the country was designed to operate. That's first and foremost. So we don't see these incredible delays and flight cancellations going into the holiday season. Something that I've been supportive of, that I've said multiple times now, is the Affordable Care Act and making sure the extension of those premium tax credits are preserved. Actually, this morning we were having bipartisan conversations and on a joint letter going over to Minority Leader Schumer as well as Leader Thune to make sure that those dialogues continue to occur. I'm one of the original bipartisan co-sponsors of the extension for 1 year, so we can get a more comprehensive solution to the problem. But I think when it goes into January, and obviously we're back at work here, we're back to our committee meetings, we're back to having dialogues just like we were this morning. I'm still in Washington here this morning and today to be able to have those dialogues, have those conversations within our Problem Solvers Caucus, and hopefully be able to come up with a real tangible solution. Obviously, this is a legislative process. This is the way it was designed to work, to be able to have conversations and have committee hearings and meetings to figure out what's the best path forward.
100%. And speaking on the ACA tax credits, as I'm sure you're aware, hundreds of thousands of people in Pennsylvania alone are expected to either have their premiums raised or be off the healthcare plan in general. And part of the agreement with Senate Democrats to kind of pass it to the House was a promise to vote on these ACA tax credits in the Senate. Speaker Mike Johnson said that he would not have that vote. Why do you think that is? And what do you think is the current plan to kind of get either these tax credits forward or a different healthcare plan in general?
Well, Ben, I have to disagree with the premise of that question. That was not what Speaker Johnson had said. He was not going to promise an outcome of that actual vote. As to what the Senate does, the Senate will do. The House is actively having dialogues. There has been a discharge petition entered by Leader Jeffries, the Minority Leader Jeffries, about extending these ACA credits for 3 years. I think what Republicans want to do is have some kind of runway and also incorporate some income taxes because there's no way or reason that people making 4, 5, $10 million a year should be entitled to those same benefits. Also, making sure that the waste, the fraud inside of those enhanced premium tax care credits are addressed. I'm personally in favor of extending it for 1 year, absolutely, because you can't just rip the rug out from underneath people and allow for a runway to be able to for people who need healthcare. That's the reality of it. What unfortunately that a lot of these premium credits go directly to the insurance companies, and that's also problematic. That we should have a solution that healthcare, unfortunately, is going to increase. But what these credits do is allow these credits to not go up 20, 25%. We can look across Pennsylvania, and if you're getting insurance through Penny, I mean, you're going to see an average increase between 60 and 80%, which people can afford, and that's not okay. So that's exactly why I'm a big proponent of extending these credits for at least 1 year so then we can come up with a real tangible solution.
Do you think, in your opinion, it's, reasonable to expect a deal on this by the end of the year?
I'm cautiously optimistic. There's a lot of conversations happening around it right now, on both Republican and Democrat, and the bipartisan piece of legislation that we had introduced. But it's certainly people. I mean, I personally recognize the need for affordable healthcare, and making sure that there's a real tangible solution here. You just can't expect people to, every dollar you make in just to be able to pay for healthcare. So I'm cautiously optimistic. It's something that we're going to certainly continue to push for.
Awesome. Sounds good. And so, pivoting away just to more general topics about the reopening of the government. With the government reopen, Speaker Mike Johnson swore in Representative Adelita Grijalva, who was the last vote in the petition to release or force a vote on the Epstein files, which Speaker Mike Johnson said that he would do next week. What do you expect the outcome of that vote to be, and do you have a vote already in mind?
If I've learned anything in 11 months and 10 days, I don't try to forecast the outcome of anything specifically. But as for how I will be voting for that, I will be voting in support to release the files, based off of the House bill that is brought through, as also making sure that the victims are protected.
Okay. And it's a unique time specifically for Pennsylvania because within a 48-hour span, the government was reopened and the state budget was passed, ending a 140 something day long stalemate within the state government. What are your thoughts on the new budget and on this unique scenario that, as a representative of Pennsylvania, you kind of found yourself in navigating a government shutdown and a state shutdown?
We have been more inundated right now on the federal budget than the intricacies of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania's budget. I think they are currently the clubhouse leader 100 days longer than the federal shutdown. But obviously, what we saw, and Pennsylvania was in a very unique set of circumstances that when you're looking at Title I funding being distributed to the various different school districts, you saw the state unfortunately have a logjam with the redistribution of those funds. I think a lot of people across the Commonwealth are going to rest a lot better tonight, knowing that both forms of government, the state government as well as the federal government, have been reopened. And I think if you, I don't know what the total budget numbers came out through on the Commonwealth level. I think it's right around $50 billion. I'm not sure what concessions were made, but at the end of the day, we have a responsibility to govern, we have a responsibility to legislate, and obviously, I'm very happy and enthusiastic that both the federal and state government have the lights back on.
I can imagine. And pivoting a little away from the government around Northeast Pennsylvania and Pennsylvania in general, uh, viewers around TV have seen a lot of your ads. I've seen a lot of promotion for you and for you being in office. Has campaign season already started? Are you kind of underway, or what is the purpose of this increase in advertising?
Well, because I'm in my official office, we don't talk about the political operations because this is the official office. So we can talk about the official budget. We can talk about the official prospects of what we did to turn the lights back on the government. But be happy to sidebar with you when I'm off campus and go into the political side.
Okay, sounds good. And finally, Representative Bresnahan, I mean, like you said, you're back in office, you're back in DC. The gears of government are starting to grind again. I mean, what's next on your guys' agenda? What does it look like looking forward to the next couple weeks towards the end of the year?
Well, I serve on transportation infrastructure. I'm the vice chairman of highway transit, something that we have been really leading up to the unfortunate shutdown was surface reauthorization and what this is all going to look like. There was over 11,000 submissions from various different stakeholders from across the United States. And right now we've been working with the committee staff as well as our own staff to make heads and tails of, is it formulary based funding for our roads and our bridges? And what is that going to mean for permitting reform? So these are really meaningful conversations that are on the precipice of taking place. Also, with air traffic control modernization taking place and the $12.5 billion that was allocated in HR 1, we're looking at establishing a top line vendor to roll out those different programs. Obviously, healthcare and the affordability of healthcare is going to remain front and center. But excited to get back to the committees, excited to get back to work, and really where the rubber meets the road, no pun intended, with highway transit, but get a surface reauthorization bill across the finish line.
Awesome. Well, Representative Bresnahan, seems like you have a lot on your plate. Thank you so much for taking the time to meet with me today.
Anytime, Ben. Thank you.
I appreciate it.